So, 3rd of April, how did that happen? I mean, how did we get to the 3rd of April already? I have no idea. Utterly terrifying. Um, you have Sarah and Holly here today. Sarah's the head of growth, and I hope all of you have met her. She talks to our local authorities on a regular basis. We're here on behalf of the High Street Task Force, and we're talking about unlocking the power of AI. And thank you very much. Sorry about this pixelated image, I hadn't spotted that. We're going to look at how AI can be used in local authorities and also with local businesses. And we're going to use Aylesbury Council as an example. Thank you very much, Diane. Before we go there, so a little bit about us. Our agenda today is to talk about the speed of AI disruption, see some AI in action, and opportunities for you as local authorities and for local businesses with AI. Why are we so focused on AI? Well, we 5 years ago were asked by the government to help be a partner on the High Street Task Force. And that contract was all about creating understanding around place sentiment using AI. So as a tech company, we've been working with AI for ages. But ChatGPT and the whole large language model and generative AI has made it something that no longer just has to sit with a tech department. It is massive what it can do for any size of organization. So today, Sarah and I are going to do some demos using ChatGPT and some proprietary AI that we have developed as well to really look at how you can dramatically impact place sentiment through the tools you use. And it's really exciting. So be prepared for a hands-on session and fingers on the buzzers in the Q&A if you'd like to ask any questions about AI as we go through. So what's all the fuss about? I've talked about this data before, but the speed of which we have adopted AI as a mainstream product is eye-watering. The graph here on the left is time taken to reach 1 million users in days. So if you think about something like Airbnb, which is massive as a service, it took nigh on 3 years to get to 1 million users. ChatGPT, I think, took 10 days. Threads, I think Threads is a cheat, Sarah. I don't know about you, but Instagram already had a huge user base. So Threads got there quicker, but really it was by forcing Instagram account holders into having Threads. So ChatGPT is a fast-growing piece of software anywhere in the world. It took 5 days to get to 1 million users, which is just mind-boggling, isn't it, Sarah?
Completely. I mean, yeah, but it's everywhere now. It's not just ChatGPT. We've got Bard. We've got there's some amazing tools out there, and tools that we're already using and now starting to integrate it. But it's completely changed the way that we work. I've got a question. Can you explain exactly what place sentiment means in simple English?
What a good question. So actually, this is fun enough. It's something we discussed at length with Kathy Parker at IPM when the High Street Task Force contract all started. And the thought process is this, which is in a world where digital is such a key driver in what we do, and being as footfall is really one of the few primary measures of place. Everybody, footfall is a dimension that everybody's confident saying, okay, that's a way to measure place. What place sentiment is about is saying, how can we use social data and what's being said by people digitally to measure the effectiveness of place? In that, what people are saying about place and what people are reading about place has a massive impact on whether people turn up in the place. So place sentiment is a broad term used to think about the new way of thinking about place, which combines with footfall, because the two things, we've now got a signpost in our hands. Every time we pick up our phone and look at something, we're looking at digital breadcrumbs, we're looking at where we're going to go, what we're going to do and talk about it. Each one of us is a micro-influencer in our own right. And so place sentiment is about saying, how does my place perform digitally? I hope that answers the question. Love to hear any feedback on that. And to that point, really, this is a screenshot of the High Street Task Force dashboard, which, back 5 years ago was powered by AI in an earlier form, which just shows how forward-thinking the whole process was, really. And what it looks at is the digital sentiment from a place. So this is the digital sentiment on the left, as in the bigger the term, the more content there is about it. You've then got graphs like digital participation, so the percentage of businesses that are active on social. This is the piece we can talk about lots. This is demonstrated. This is demonstrating data. I can't even say the word today. Sorry, brain not working. But local data is a much smaller proportion of the digital conversation in place than national organisations. One of the big challenges of that is national organisations never or very rarely talk about their locality. They talk about their websites. So this whole concept of digital sentiment and place sentiment is about, if you can get local businesses talking about your place, more people turn up. And we've proven that time and time again. We've got places where you've seen enormous changes in footfall because the place sentiment has been increased by the volume of conversation by the businesses within it. So the idea of the High Street Task Force dashboard, which you all can have access to, is that you can understand how digital impacts with place, and you look at digital activity against footfall and see the breakdown between Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or X as it's more commonly called now. Hope that answers that question. But please do keep firing them in. Now, what all of this data has shown us, and it really hasn't missed a beat, rather scarily, is that over the 3.9 million businesses that we look at on a daily basis, we don't personally do it, our technology does it, I'm pleased to say, is that only 19% of UK, and this applies in the US as well, because we watch data there too, only 19% of businesses have an active digital presence. Now, when you think about that in contrast, 82% of consumers now say that digital communication is their lifestyle, informs their lifestyle and purchasing decisions. You can see the gap. I mean, it's really scary, and we all do it. You know, you look at your phone to think about what are the reviews on that thing, what's going on right now. If businesses aren't visible and if your place isn't visible, you're not visible, and less people turn up. And that's really what place sentiment is all about. It's about saying, are you in the room? Are you there? Are you being heard? And have your local businesses got reach? So have you got anything to add on that? Oh, you're very quiet, Sarah.
I'm trying to unmute. I've just unmuted. You see, there's always one, and it's generally me.
Generally,
chatting away and thinking she can't hear me. I don't think she can hear me. No, I think you've summarised it really well. And it's not just about social; it's all things digital, because we're checking our emails, we're checking our, and people who do great localized email campaigns, as well as good social media, as well as it might be posters and physical marketing material. It could be all sorts of different things. But the more we can encourage our businesses and our communities to showcase what our places have on offer, that's where the magic sauce happens, because it's a collective conversation, and it's unique to every place. Lots of places, every place in the high street looks the same. No, the people are different, the atmosphere is different, the history is different. There's so much to celebrate, and there's so much content we could be putting out there, and it's about creating that content, isn't it? That we're going to show you how AI can be really, really helpful in getting all of that collective message across.
Agreed. And there's another interesting big question here. I never find the first graphic useful and useful. I never find it. Do you think it's really useful? I think there's a question around the word cloud on the High Street Task Force dashboard. I think, to be fair, that dashboard was created 5 years ago, and you have access to that, but you also have access to the Maybe platform, which has been maintained. We do releases every 2 weeks, sometimes weekly now. And since that data was put on the High Street Task Force dashboard 5 years ago, we've actually progressed the Maybe platform tremendously. And as a partner of the High Street Task Force, you get access to our platform too. So any feelings about you'd like to have more up-to-date tech? Well, you've got a Maybe account as well, which is bang up to date, to the point it now includes data from Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, YouTube, Google My Business, Google WhatsApp, email, and SMS. Whoa. And you can all have an account. So stick around because you'll all get access to that at the end. So yeah, managing how you use this data. And now, importantly, we've integrated AI with it so that not only are we using AI to disseminate data, but we're using AI to make it easier to use these channels so that you can reach your community, and not only that, but enable them to reach their customers, because that is what really matters. Is how can you collectively help the council and also help local businesses tackle the consumer, because increasingly we have got the world in our hand, and if you are not delivering an experience that captures me, well, I can just as easily walk down your high street and make a purchase from an app in China and get the product I want. Now, that's the reality of today, that if local businesses aren't able to compete with that, and your communications don't grab my attention first, the consumer has this digital signpost in the palm of their hand, which can guide them anywhere. So the value of being able to connect is massive, but it's not an individual thing, it's a collective thing. And that's very much what these webinars are about, is how can we help you improve the collective place sentiment through digital communications. So what can AI do for you? We have worked, oh, I've got my head on myself. What can AI do for you? We're going to start a little demo of ChatGPT. It'd be fascinating to know who on the call has used ChatGPT or Google's Bard, now known as Gemini. There are thousands of AI tools popping up all over the place, but they all, in the main, use ChatGPT or another large language model like Gemini from Google as their engine. It'd be fascinating in the chat. Just if you drop a 1 if you're at the beginning of your AI journey, or if you are a 10 if you're at the other end of it.
It's always really interesting, actually, when we ask that question, isn't it? Because it's just so many people are at different. Well, Diane, of course you're a 10 because you're using our tools. I love that.
Lots of diverse things. Actually, there's another really great question. Just while you're dropping where you are, I'm going to stick here for a minute because I'd love to know where you are. Are you a 10 as in you're using AI every day? Or if you're 1, we're at the stage where you're thinking, where do I get started? It's another really great question here. It's just how do you get to a place where the emphasis is always about cycling and poor public transport, car-free streets that the immobile can't walk around safely? Would AI be able to measure this? Yes, absolutely. So we're doing a lot of work at the moment around AI and reporting. The gentleman that's asking that question, or lady, I'm not quite sure which, if you want to know more about that, please, when we share the link for, jump on a call with us and we can definitely help you with how that works, because AI is incredible at understanding data at scale. And that's one of the big values of this is, no longer does it just become a word cloud. But for example, we were asked to do a piece of work for a journalist last week around understanding the sentiment around Marks and Spencer's self-service tills and their Spark program. Now, had you had to trawl through all of the data around that, it would have been impossible. And literally within 24 hours, we were able to give them a really, really solid picture of what people thought of. There's a lot of dissatisfaction around the tills, but understand really quite at a granular level what it was. So yeah, if you're trying to sort of understand the audience, then absolutely, AI is really good for doing that. I've got more people saying yes. Some people doing posts, using AI to do posts. It creates greater reach and improved engagement on the post. That's fantastic to hear. I've used a lot, especially for writing speeches, which can then be edited and modified. Yeah, I think so. So I say to everybody, AI is great, but treat it as a really good intern. It's not necessarily delivering the finished article. And the trick I like best with it is to ask it to then be the audience and give you feedback. I'll show you that in a minute. Use it for post picture. Also useful, gets around some copyright issues, but still not great. We're going to show you some images as well. Right. So let's go and do a little bit of, let's go and have some fun. I always think it's fun to go and do these things. So let's go to ChatGPT. And I am going to start a new chat. So a key message, if anybody's not using ChatGPT yet, just go to Google ChatGPT. I think it's probably the best place to start. And you'll get an account. This is a paid for account. I pay $20 a month for it, which means I get ChatGPT 4, which means I can search the web as well. But you can happily do it with a free account on 3.5. Now, the challenge with ChatGPT like this, and I'm going to show you a solution to this, is that this is public. Anything you tell this little magical box down here, you are putting into the public domain, which has a challenge. So let's ask it right now to say, let's do something small. What should we do, Sarah? Should we do something about potholes? I need to write. Sorry, I can't spell. Write an article about, write a paper. Sorry, can you make mood music for me about making a terrible?
Yes. Oh, it's always so difficult typing and talking at the same time, isn't it? But yeah, potholes is a good one because it's contentious, isn't it? It's one of those, and especially when you're communicating as a local authority, there's a particular tone of voice that you really do have to get right. And sometimes approaching difficult topics or topics that are going to be cause drive engagement that could potentially be disruptive is always very difficult to craft. So I should be interested to see.
So go, and so just think of it as an assistant. It's not a finished article. I need to write a paper about the best way to communicate potholes as Aylesbury. Not saying Aylesbury got lots of potholes. Just this is just an example. So there's a very badly written prompt, but please, I just ask them for my ideas. This saves me staring at a blank sheet of paper. So crafting a strategy for Aylesbury Council to communicate potholes effectively involves a multifaceted approach aimed at enhancing public service and community satisfaction. Here are several ideas that could form the basis of your paper. So because I've said I need to write a paper about the best way to communicate potholes as Aylesbury Council, it's understood that I'm Aylesbury Council, therefore it understands the tone. It is by default writes in American, so please excuse the Zs. So digital reporting platforms, social media engagement, interactive map, community outreach, customer service, feedback loop, annual report. I'd like to know everybody's opinion. I think that's quite a good starting point. Now, from there, you can go and ask and dive deeper and say, right, how could we address? So, for example, if we said, right, we like the council meetings and public forums, we could take this one and say, could you expand on this? Oh, sorry, I'm not shouting. Expand.
ChatGPT doesn't mind.
This.
It also doesn't mind if you don't say please either. And I still can't help myself. Please, can you? Please, will you? Please, may I?
And provide agenda for the meeting and some draft PowerPoint slides. So I've gone from a blank sheet of paper to some ideas, and I said, could you expand on this? Could we expand on the council meetings and public forums? Expanding the concept of council meetings and public forums for addressing pothole and road conditions concerns. This approach promotes transparency, direct community engagement, and ensures accountability. Below is a detailed expansion of this idea, along with suggested agenda, draft content for PowerPoint slides. Now, you can take this and edit the hell out of it. But the key thing is you haven't got to start from the beginning. You're starting with something already on the piece of paper, which makes such a difference. So, but the key trick, I'm going to let it finish doing this. I'm then going to say, as a disgruntled, I can't spell that. How do you feel disgruntled?
Grunt, G-U-R-N-T.
Disgrunt. As a disgruntled local, resident, how would I receive this information? But you can see it's still going. It's written me an agenda. It's written me the draft PowerPoint slides. And now before I go and create my slides or even start to edit it, because you can copy it all and put it in doc, I'm going to say, as a disgruntled local resident, how would I receive this information? So you're now going to read it through the eyes of the resident, and it's going to mark your work for you. So this is like doing a public inquiry before you do the public inquiry. So you can make sure that everything you're creating is going to address the pain point of the people you're trying to work with. So perception.
Look at that, direct mail and leaflets.
There you go.
I remember a couple of years ago, we did a direct mail for a client that particularly wanted us to reach out to businesses through direct mail. Oh my word, the number of people that moaned about saving the planet and we shouldn't be, sending paper information to them. It's so interesting because it's just come up as one of the things that the disgruntled, resident might pick up on. And it's so true. You can never win, can you?
It also there's a point here made. AI is not useful if it excludes the elderly, can't participate and use computers. Well, I think be very careful don't think of AI as a thing that excludes people. Think of it as something that can help all of your team do their job faster. I think we've just demonstrated here, we've gone from we've got to do something. We've got to find a way to communicate approach to potholes. Granted that you need to go through it all and think, are those things we're doing, or are those things we can do? You've now started to create a public communications plan. You've got an agenda, and you've then asked what would a disgruntled local resident and receive it from. So you've got a lot of information to then inform meetings, and you haven't had to have somebody spend however long writing this. It's done, and is then ready for edits. I would then say all edits you put back in, and then think about it from your perspective, but then also from the other side. Again, say as a disgruntled local resident, how do I see it? Now, as I said at the beginning, ChatGPT is amazing, but it has one shortcoming, which is it doesn't know who you are. Now, if I continue chatting in this thread, it will understand that I'm Aylesbury County Council, and it will have a sort of idea of how to write. For example, if I said, please write in UK English, it would do that and it would remember it here. But the minute I start a new chat, it will forget everything and start again and won't know Aylesbury Council. So it's a little bit like working with a genius consultant, in that they come in, they go, and they go away again, but they don't know you. They don't know you. So one of the things that we've been working incredibly hard on is a product that knows you. Is that my next thing I'm going to do? It's not, is it? It is the next thing I'm going to do, yeah. So we have been blown away by the power of AI, this generative AI, and we also believe it can solve a massive problem that we've seen up and down the country. This whole 19% issue, the whole 19% piece of businesses saying, I'm not doing digital because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. I haven't got time. And even with some local authorities, it's the whole communications piece is a challenge because you've just got to have the time to create the content. Sorry, it's our test account. Let me just get out of there. Go to Aylesbury. Aylesbury. So one of the key things that we are doing inside the Maybe platform is to do a hard refresh because it's not liking it. Is that we have put GPT inside our platform so that every business that we work for and every client we have has access to GPT in a safe environment. That means that it's not sharing what they put in that little box with the rest of the world.
I call it like putting them in a rose garden.
It's a secret little box.
Yes.
It's a secret little box, isn't it? But it also knows who you are. It's reading your social media feeds, and we're just about to release that it's reading your website as well. So when you ask it something, it does it, it's like a well-informed genius member of your team, not that brilliant consultant that turns in as a disruptor. Because one of the problems that we've seen time and time again with AI is if you use the GPT that we've just shown you, the problem is that your whole team starts to sound completely different, and you're not on brand. So what we've done is taken all the power of GPT and put it inside Maybe, and you've all got access to this. You've all got access to this. If you haven't got access yet, talk to Sarah and you will have access. And what it means is that you can ask it to help you in a very different way, because it understands much more about you. So, for example, I know that I think my computer crashed just before I went online, but I'm fairly sure, Diane, correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing a book club. And I know that, for example, Roald Dahl was born in Aylesbury. So we could say, following, so you're not talking to a stranger now, you're talking to somebody that knows you. So we could say, following the recent launch, keep making music, Sarah.
Oh, sorry, yes, launch of our book club. And you see on the left-hand side, it saves as Polly's typing in, these are all things that Diane has been asking GPT to do for us. So give me a plotted history of Aylesbury. Wonderful. Write me some copy for British Pie Week. Develop a comprehensive marketing plan. When you come into here and you go to explore, there is a whole load of pre-written prompts, everything you can think of, from looking at your brand, looking at your reputation, looking at how to create social media content, email marketing campaigns, social media advertising campaigns, blogs, websites, funnels, you name it. All that content can be created for you in your rose garden. So it always comes out in the right tone of voice. It's always consistent, and it just helps the whole thing come together all in one place. How are you getting on with your spelling, Polly?
Stop being mean about spelling. Following the recent launch of our book club, can you suggest a plan for an author quiz around local area showcasing? Here we go. Famous authors. I'm not even going to say about Roald Dahl. Let's see what it knows. So let's see.
Just press go.
So that's that's a really poor instruction. That's like saying to one of your team, like I do, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what it does. So, always dangerous when I do this.
I know, it's the dots moving. It's like the anticipation of it all.
Yeah.
But it's never failed to amaze me every time.
Now I know. Okay. Can you expand and do more of a who lives or who?
I would ask it to do the questions.
Born.
Write me the quiz.
Born in which? Can you talk, Sarah?
Yes, I'm talking.
Which
local village? Okay.
I.e. Roll.
Now you're really. Where are we? Go back to Zoom.
I don't think I spell Roald Dahl. How do you spell Roald Dahl?
R-O-A-L-D.
R-O-A-L-D. Why am I struggling? Roald Dahl.
That'll do. A-L-A-L.
L-H again.
That'll do. It'll know what you're talking about. It's very forgiving.
There we go. Sorry, my brain is really struggling today. Feeling poorly. So it's now going to give more details. So it's giving you an agenda. and it's going to provide you with, I did test this earlier on, it was amazing.
See, it did say author quiz, prepare a quiz featuring questions about famous authors. It said include questions about authors like Roald Dahl, George Orwell, or any other prominent literary figures.
Amazing.
We got overexcited with ourselves.
Here we go. Look at that. So, Roald Dahl, but lived in Great Britain near Aylesbury. George Orwell, born in India, but lived in Sutton Court near Aylesbury. John Mitton, born Cheapside. Now, we never said where. So here, it's got it right here. It knew where it was. Now, ChatGPT could never know that. And that's the difference here, is that it knows, it intrinsically knows. It's like it's got the knowledge. And it's got the knowledge because it's looking at your social media and your website. So it means that all of your team can be really smart. But without it, a new member of the team can arrive and start creating relevant content and documents. It's not just for social media, it could be for press release, for example. So say great, could you also draft, great, can you also draft a press release?
Oh, that's nice. Yes. And it does some great press releases. It's also quite good, I think, when you're doing these things. You know, a lot of the businesses and, well, particularly the larger organizations, you know, local authorities and so on that I work with, we talk about a theme or a showcase. You know, what are we going to be talking about this month? What are the current underlying themes? What does that content going to look like? So we use the chat to ask for the types of content that we could be posting. And then we do supporting blogs and supporting press releases and supporting email campaigns and so on. So that the whole month's work all sort of makes sense. It becomes like it all joins up together really nicely because it's all been done in here. It all has exactly the same tone of voice, even though 4 or 5 different people might be actually asking for the information. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, actually, and Diane just said it is a borrow book scheme. Apologies. Yeah, so this could be. So we can now say to it, "This is great. Can you tweak this? Can you tweak this to promote the promote our or borrow a book scheme? Can you tweak this to promote our borrow book scheme?" And it will rewrite it for you. It won't get grumpy, and it will just deliver it to you straight back again. So yeah, I think it's pretty incredible, and it means that your team can have got all the tools they need. So here we go. It's tweaked it. So to launch the much anticipated borrow book event featuring the authors quiz. So again, we've gone from just an idea to quite a robust plan in a very short space of time. And in a world where we've all got to deliver more for less, I think that's really important. Love to have any. Have you got more Q&A coming up here? A couple of questions.
No, I think we've got everyone.
Oh no, I can see another one here. So somebody's saying, so are you saying that it knows exactly how to be us? Yeah, absolutely. Once you create your account, it will know how to be you, and it updates all the time based upon your social media content. Yeah, I know, that's amazing. And will it do other languages? Yes. So should we ask for this in Welsh? Please, can you translate this to Welsh? Sometimes doesn't like doing it here, but we've got another one that will show you that will do that. But you can translate it into any language. We've got one of our clients translates all their content into all languages using the platform, which is really valuable for both, and it does it both ways. So if you've got it coming in and you've got, there you go. So you've now got your press release in Welsh. I think that's amazing. So for all of those, which other languages you can do, we can do Urdu, Chinese, Spanish, French, yeah, everything.
I think there's over 200 languages in the system, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Mind-blowing. Right, so where should we go now? So Sarah, you were going to show, so this is
I was going to talk about, yeah, calendars, wasn't I?
Yes. So the other challenge that we've discovered when working with, I think 25,000 businesses, which is a lot of businesses, is the biggest block they tend to all have is, oh, what do we post? What should we do? So it's a real piece of fun kit we've delivered is the content creation calendar. Sarah, take it away. Tell me where you want me to go.
Okay, well, just a very quick overview, first of all. So once this loads up, you'll see that there is every national and international day you can possibly think of. And admittedly, some of them sound a bit bonkers, but they're all really big conversations. And there are lots and lots of these conversations that are very relevant, especially to local authorities and communities. So, for example, this month is National Pet Month. We've got Active April, we've got Walk to Work Day, we've got World Health Day, Education and Sharing Day, Stop Food Waste Day, World Day for Health and Safety at Work. I mean, these are really big conversations that actually, that's to put content together for all of that is really starting to fill the calendar. And it's very engaging content. It
And
shows,
it's very relevant, isn't it, Sarah? I mean, the gentleman was asking about cycling. You know, the National Walk to Work Day is something a month is something that should be threaded through every local authority's content.
yeah, absolutely. So let's just scroll down. I don't think we need Chocolate Mousse Day. There you go, Walk to Work Day. So let's ask it to write a post for Aylesbury Council. It just, not only does it create a post, there we go, Happy Walk to Work Day. At Aylesbury Town Council, we believe in taking small steps that lead to big changes. Today, as we celebrate Walk to Work Day, we invite you to join us in embracing the simple act of walking, not just about getting to your destinations, about physical health and mental well-being, and so on. So lace up your shoes, breathe in the fresh air. Isn't that wonderful? It's got all the hashtags, and there's even an image prompt.
Should we do the thing? Should we do the thing? Should we go and do it?
Well, why not? Yeah, you head off and do that. I'll then sort of just touch on May because, you know, we've got April, but May is well worth having a look at because we've got half term and we've got more, you know, got a couple of bank holidays as well. We've got school holidays. We've got GCSE exams coming up. Yeah, there's so many things that we can write content about. I thought it was quite interesting that May is Local and Community History Month. Amazing. Could do some historical fact every day for a month. Just so nice to engage with. National Walking Month, Walk to School Week. And then the end of the month, I really hope we get the weather for it. It's National Barbecue Week. Oh, yes, please. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just?
So there's so much to engage with. And to engage our communities and help our businesses engage with the conversation. Because remember, we were talking back at the beginning how important it is for our local businesses and our local communities to be engaging in this digital conversation, to create that positive place sentiment. Look at that.
So what I've done is I've sent the content that's been written from the calendar. Diana won't post this to your to the social scheduler, and I've now used AI to create an image. It stretches on my screen because my screen's quite wide. But you can see how it's got walk to work day, walk to work, Aylesbury walks, healthy commute, sustainable living, wellness, and the image has been created by AI. Because sometimes for some of these fun things you don't have content, and you can use AI to create the images on demand, which is just so powerful and so fun. Sarah, just going back to your calendar, there's some. But what we're saying is there's so many great opportunities in every month, but particularly coming for, I always think coming up for the half-term break and bank holidays. There's so much, and we've all been stuck in our burrows for so long with this wretched weather. It's really worth shouting out the lovely stuff that's about to hit us, isn't it?
I think so. But you know, it's when you know, local authorities and businesses and communities start to engage in some of these warmer conversations that, you know, just make your heart sing a bit, or that provide empathy, or that are about, you know, health and well-being. That's very attractive to a visitor to a place as well. It's not just local economy, it's about the visitor economy, because people do their homework. They find out. They're on Google Maps, you know, the minute they arrive, looking for what's on, where's to go, what's this place all about. And there's just so many ways in which you can create that content. Do you want to do?
And also conversations that you should be involved with. So things like Stop Food Waste Day, not being involved is not okay as a local authority. So the purpose of this calendar is to make sure that you don't drop a ball either. And it's there for you to use. Enjoy. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you so much. Should we dive back to the deck?
Yes, time is marching, I
It
think.
is, isn't it? Time always vanishes when you're having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Got more questions coming in, Sarah. Moving swiftly on. So this is part of the whole tool of maybe that you've all got access to. Inside it, you've got schedulers, you've got automation, so you eat a heart out. You can use pipelines. You may think these are not relevant to local authorities, but I think for putting people into pots of saying, somebody, got a certain type of people that needs help, pipelines are tremendously valuable. If you're ever running ads, you've got an AI ads manager that is just extraordinary. It's enabled us to do incredible things over the first 4 months of this year, and we'll be delighted to help you do things with it too. And all your reports all in one place. So it's one platform, it's all there for you to use. As a local authority, please contact us, go through mobitech.com/High Street Task Force HSTF, book a meeting with Sarah, and we'll get you set up. But don't go away, because we've got something very, very important to offer you. As we mentioned, we've helped about 25,000 businesses connect with their customers digitally. Sarah, it's been an epic task, hasn't it? We have an awesome team. Our biggest clients is UK government, but we work from everybody from PLCs like New River, insurance companies like New River, CBRE, but we've done a lot of work with local authorities. AI has helped us tremendously. One of our biggest case studies over the last 18 months was actually in Herefordshire, so a very rural community. And we did a very big piece of work around measuring the change in footfall from digital, or from place sentiment as we started this conversation. And the businesses that participated, and I think we trained 1,800 businesses in Herefordshire, the businesses that participated in the programme had a 15% increase in footfall, and overall the footfall in each place was up significantly because of the increased digital pull.
And it's about 6.5%, I think.
6.5%, wasn't it, Sarah? But the stories and the human stories and the people and how it changed their businesses is so important. But one of the big things about it for us is that this year we had a number of SPF funded projects that, we all know the challenges around the SPF funding is it came out very late. And in literally 4 weeks, we've been able to smash the targets of programs that we couldn't start delivering because of the delays with funding. And we've got 3 areas where we have delivered to Sarah. How many businesses have we reached? Nearly 750.
It's more than that. Crikey, Buckinghamshire alone is that. Probably about 1,500 in total in a very short space of time.
So in less than 6 weeks, using our own platform, using our own services, we have reached and trained over 1,500 businesses. And that's the power of digital, and that's the power of AI. And the reason we've been able to do this is because we've taken all of the training that we've delivered to people, so all the knowledge we've acquired over the last 5 years, and put it into AI so that we can now deliver all of our immediate response in about 11, sometimes sadly 13 seconds. Now, before anybody goes, oh, it won't work, the responses we're getting from people is they chat the AI like it's a human being. We had an unbelievable thread about 2 weeks ago of somebody that actually mistook us for a psychiatrist and had the most unbelievable discussion with our AI about their needs. And the AI very politely told it that it actually couldn't help, but they carried on. They were a person that wasn't very happy, and they had the most amazing conversation with it. And this person went away delighted. Now, be under no illusion, this is not ChatGPT. It's powered by a large language model, but it's taking all of the knowledge that we have delivered through training 25,000 businesses and learning what they need, and it's put it in there, and is now allowing us to respond in record time, which means that we can train businesses at scale. Now, we have learned through a whole plethora of businesses, from people running delis who don't sell anything online to ladies selling shoes, and going from zero to hero as from an online perspective, even to the point where they're going to John Lewis, they change the footfall in John Lewis through digital. everything we've learned now lives inside this little blue button, which means that any business can ask us a question and get an answer in 13 seconds about, or less, about anything digital. And we believe this can start to change the face of digital marketing forever, because no longer are you then stuck in that world where you think, oh, I need to go and Google it, or I need to go and ask YouTube, and suddenly you find 3 hours have disappeared and you aren't any further forward. So, for example, how do I create a reel is now a question that you can get answered in seconds, not in hours, or get lost on YouTube. It's just there, ready for you. So
brilliant. It always just delivers you a really good article, and 9 times out of 10 there's a video to go with it, which is, and we know that asking businesses to come to great long webinars or sit in a classroom to learn about digital is just you just don't get very far with it very often. But this literally will just give you the how to. And then very often, okay, so it hasn't sent us a video on this one, but usually it will. It's just game change, because everybody's at a different, they're at different levels. Now, I was talking to a lady yesterday who, she didn't have a Facebook page. She didn't know how to create one. And I was talking to another lady this morning that is doing so well with their social media ads that she wants to put more money in the pot, but she wants to make sure that, she's got all her campaigns set up correctly. It's every different level you could possibly think of. So interesting, some fascinating businesses.
So the AI is now delivering responses to pretty much everything from Sarah saying, how do I create my Google My Business account, to really complex questions about ads. And it's always improving. So we are thinking very carefully about, as the High Street Task Force draws to a close later this year, how can we address this issue? Now, we believe that the sort of transformation that we've experienced around customer success is also something that we can help local authorities repeat in their own businesses, because what we've discovered is that there's a lot of repetitive tasks you can get rid of by using AI well. But most importantly, how can we use it to address this issue, which is a problem for all of us? If we want our high streets to thrive, we have to find a way to encourage more businesses to be digital. That doesn't necessarily mean sell online. It means, how do we help them reach their customers digitally? Now, we believe AI has a huge part to play in that, and we are just exploring how can we take this calendar, which it may sound really simple, but the biggest block to getting people started is, what do I post? And here's a very simple mechanic that can enable them to work out how they can do that, connect it with our support, and make it available up and down the country. We would love to talk to you about this, and we believe that AI offers the most incredible accelerated learning experience, because it means no longer do you have to sit through hours of stuff that's not relevant to you. You can ask the thing that's stopping you delivering the result right now. So everybody in the room is always at a different learning place, and if you can deliver learning in a format that means that people can say, I'm stuck here, can I have the answer right now? It changes everything. So I always say that AI is sort of a point where it's not like, shall I use it? This thing's going already. You just decide what kind of wheels you're going to put on your vehicle. So to local authorities, I'm saying, we would like to discuss how we can help you get the message out to your local businesses. We have an awesome team that have been just incredible with the 25,000 businesses we've already supported, but we think we can help many more much faster. We want to shift this number. We'd like to work with you to do that. And we are offering obviously every local authority access to Maybe.
Free of charge, might I add?
Yes, well, you have a funded license for a limited number of people under the High Street Task Force contract. But we'd also like to extend that offer to all of your local businesses, and we're just considering very carefully how we do that. So please do book a call with Sarah. at mabytech.com/HSTF if you haven't got an account. And if you'd like to come and chat to us about how we can open this offer up to really accelerate and move the digital dial for local businesses in your area, please come and talk to us, because I think the sort of the digital divide has it's a terrible risk that it's easier to buy something from Amazon than the business down the road. And I think AI has a way of helping businesses get there quicker. But if we don't use it well, then the big guys just get bigger. And we'd like to help fix that. So for those of you that are already enjoying the platform, thank you for your lovely feedback. Aylesbury, thank you so much for letting you share your account. And anybody that's not yet got inside Maybe Tech, please do book a call. And if you're inside and would like to ask some questions about how we can help local businesses, please get in touch. But as we started off this webinar, place sentiment is this a combination of what your place is saying. And if your place is saying nothing and you're not appearing here, people don't turn up. It's really very simple. Very sad. So we want to help fix that. We've got a lot of questions coming in, actually. Questions. I think some of these are best answered on a one-to-one with Sarah. But please don't. I can't make my Q&A open up, Sarah, for some reason.
No, mine's come up. So somebody's asking, so when you say a maybe account, what do you mean a maybe account? What is that?
Good question. So a maybe account is access to the Maybe platform, which means that you can use the AI we've just demoed, you can use the calendar we've just demoed, and you've got access to 30+ digital tools that let you do everything digital. You can choose the bits you want, don't use the bits you don't want, but it's got and can access our 24/7 support. So you've got access to everything you need to be more digital. It's got reporting, yes. Can you schedule through it? Yes. And
Hang on, another question. This is a good one. Would this be a tool that I'm trying to just interpret it, it's a long question, that our communications teams within the council could use?
100%. Absolutely. Well, local authorities using it up and down the country to do that. And yeah, everybody has access to the same set of tools. It's just a question of how many people you want access to. And what it does is it combines many platforms that currently it means your teams are possibly working in silos, and it puts ChatGPT inside them. So it means that you can write better emails. It means that you can create better social posts. It means you can do better reporting. And the businesses that are using it are seeing unbelievable results. And as a team, it means that you've got access to AI safely. You're not letting your data out into the world, a big bad world, and that you can all stay on brand and on message. Sarah, I'm sorry, I can't access the Q&A. I can see more people coming in. Sorry.
No, I've got another one for you, which is a really interesting one, actually. Could a local authority use this technology or use our technology to deliver more generalised business support?
Yes. So we're working with a number of membership organisations right now around how we can extend what we have, the way we have delivered support around digital, to cover much wider business topics. So absolutely, as long as you have the knowledge, or we can create a knowledge base, you can use this type of technology to deliver business support for any vertical you like. And that's absolutely technology that's what we do commercially. So yes, anybody's wanting to do business support of any level, and you want to use AI to accelerate it at massively reduce cost, but actually massively increase impact. Because the challenge with all training that's delivered in a room means that A, people have got to get there, and B, I've possibly got to sit through something that not all of it's relevant for me. The beauty of it doing this way is that you use information that you know is correct, that you can update in seconds when things change, because it does, and that you can then distribute via chat so that people can get to the end of the conversation, the bit that matters to them most. And we do it with both text and with video, so you can take hours and hours and hours of video and make that available through the AI as well, so that people can literally get to the point that they need. So you can do structured learning through a course, which I will always recommend delivering digitally, because more people will attend. From everything we've done, we do a lot of in-person training as well, because some people insist on that. But frankly, we believe, and all the data from the participants say, that they get more value by doing it virtually, because they can watch it when they want, obviously make it on demand, but that you then take all of that information that's created specifically for any topic, not just digital. It could be how to grow foxgloves. I'm growing those at the moment, but there you go. It could be how to grow foxgloves, how to health and safety, how to do food hygiene, whatever it is. You put that knowledge into the system and then make it searchable through AI. And you build a knowledge base for us, and then the knowledge can be disseminated in any which way you like. So totally efficient, has longevity, and it means everybody that's interested can access that information forever, and you can update it in seconds when the rules change, which they do on a regular basis. Did that help? Sorry, I got rambling there.
No, that was brilliant. I'm sold. Yes, please. I'll have 3, 1 in each colour.
I think it's something that we've got some conversations going with Growth Hubs at the moment, because I think it's something that's, it's the new world, and it is really exciting, and the way it can improve things, and enable, what it's done for us, for example, with customer service, is that we have less customer service people. So I think you can back me up on this. We've got less people doing customer service, but more people creating great content. And it means that our customer service team, we've got more people to have what I call lovely, warm conversations, because the customers already had their problem solved and we're adding more value. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've all become, we're working twice. Well, we're working twice as fast. I was going to say twice as hard, but we're not. We're working the same level of hardness, but we're going doubly fast. That's it. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. And it's true. It has made our entire, every process within our organisation, every activity, every bit of content, everything we do is now supported by AI, and we're able to do our best work faster. And of course, when you bring new people onto the team, you haven't got this, they've got to know everything, because they've got one place to go where they can ask the question and they get the right answer. So it's just win-win all the way around. Anyway, we digress. I'm sure these lovely people, it's now 4 o'clock, would love to go and have a nice cup of tea.
I would.
And a biscuit. Fancy a biscuit.
Thank you all so much for coming. Please make sure you've gone to mobitek.com/High Street Task Force HSTF, booked a call with Sarah, and so we can get you set up, and then just chew around the edges of how we can make our offer available to more of your local businesses. We're really excited. We've had just tremendous first quarter of the year, and we'd like to make sure more people get supported faster. Thank you so much. Lots of lovely questions. We will be sending you a recording if you want to share this with any of your team. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. And it will also be live on the High Street Task Force website when they be up there. Thank you all. See you same time next month, first Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock. Please tell your friends. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.